and boom goes the dynamite.
Sucked. Okay, welcome. This is Summer Lax. Wow, that was a great goof to start this video. Basically, what I just said was, what's up? Every Friday, this will be all things Premier Lacrosse League. I apologize for that. We'll get you next week with the intro. But what I'm going to start with here is the Lyle Thompson video before we do anything else PLL specifically related, because this was taking the PLL by storm. Of course, as you know, this is not season 2 of Daily Dive. This is simply PLL Fridays, but we call it Summer Lax. So Lyle Thompson video came out. And what do I mean by that? Well, in this video, Lyle Thompson goes on what he calls a 3-minute rant. It's not a rant, Lyle. Be nice to yourself. He basically explains and opens up for the first time since he released his statement to the PLL about why he won't be playing this year. Well, now apparently he feels like he needs to provide more clarity, although he did say in this end of this video, quote, "A lot of that needs no explanation," end quote. So enough from me. Let's get to the Lyle Thompson video and see what you guys picked out for, because I got about 4 or 5 things I really appreciate about this video. I'll be back on the other side.
What's up, everybody? So, going to talk about my decision to take the year off of the PLL. You know, I haven't addressed it since the league has made that announcement, and I know a lot of people have had some questions. So, I just want to add some depth to the statement, but also touch on summer box lacrosse, because the last thing I want is for it to look like I'm picking one league over the other just because I'm playing senior A lacrosse here in Six Nations. It's not a competition for me. My decision had very little to do with the game of lacrosse. I'll play the game as long as I have love for it, whether it's internationally, professionally, summer ball, backyard, medicine game, and even coaching. I'll keep a stick in my hands because the game does so much good for me, mentally and physically. So I can't just walk away from that. You know, yes, I'm taking the year off of the PLL, but it doesn't feel like I'm walking away from anything internally. And if anything, it feels like I'm walking toward what's necessary for myself. You know, like I said in my statement, my main focus is my family, my community, and myself. And lacrosse takes part in it, but with everything I do now, it's aligned with that. And I now understand that those things get hard to manage, hard to balance. And it takes checking in with yourself and making sure you're still feeding those fires and caring for the things that are important to you. Because for a long time, you know, lacrosse felt like my one and only purpose. It was my number one priority, and a lot of times it came before my kids, which I don't want that to be the case. You know, it took recognizing the dysfunction in that and realizing that I didn't have balance there. So I guess that's what I'm doing now, is checking in and making sure I have that balance, making sure everything I do is aligned with my priorities. Like I said, for so long, lacrosse felt like my purpose in life. And I now understand that purpose isn't static. It's dynamic. You can have more than one. It can change. You know, like being a parent, anyone who's a parent can understand the sense of purpose it takes to raise a kid. And you'll never regret spending more time with your kids, with your family, with your friends, with your loved ones, because they give you that. They give you that energy. So a lot of that needs no explanation, but I guess I'm just saying that's where I'm at. You know, I have my family. I'm still able to do what I love, and I have my priorities straight. And for the most part, that's all I'll say. That's all I want to say. Didn't mean to go on a 3-minute rant, but I appreciate everyone who has reached out and sent me a note.
So let's get to a couple of parts of this video that I really appreciated and want to help break down. I also want to say again, Lyle Thompson, that was not a rant. If that was a rant, I should be behind jail bars because I don't know what I do. But no, that was a great video. One of the things he started off by saying was, it's not a competition for me. He said he didn't choose one league over the other. And that was a big thing. I mean, obviously, as box lacrosse fans, we were like, oh, yeah, heck yeah, screw the PLL. You realize that that wasn't what this is. And you kind of realize that when the statement was released. I mean, people wanted to make it a competition. Even mine naturally might have wanted to do that and probably did. But it wasn't that. This is a person who was 30-some-odd years old, and he is a family man. He is a person who has played this game, been there, done that. And sometimes the guy needs a break every summer or once a summer every decade, for crying out loud. This was a great thing that Lyle Thompson did. And let's get to more of these things. It doesn't, he says, quote, it doesn't feel like I'm walking away from anything internally. I'm walking toward what's necessary for myself. Boy, chef's kiss on that one. I don't know how in the world he rattled that one off the tongue, but that was a beautiful statement. Again, it doesn't feel like I'm walking away from anything internally. I'm walking toward what's necessary for myself. Well, I don't think many scholars could have said that better if they had 10 years to write that. But, I mean, he's right. I mean, he's not walking me from the cross. This is the beginning of the end. Now, I'll get to that point in a little bit, but he understands that he's got some priorities, if you will. He says those things get hard to manage, like the work-life balance here. And unfortunately, lacrosse, although to a guy like Lyle, who's Indigenous, it might be a little bit more fun for him, it's still work. And so the work-life balance thing isn't really working out for Lyle. I understand that. He said lacrosse felt like my one and only purpose. It even came before my kids. Now we're getting to the family man part of things, although he expanded on that a little bit, but he says all he wanted to say now. I believe this is the beginning of the end of Lyle Thompson. I don't know if he plays another 10 years, that'd be fantastic. I don't even know if he plays another 2 years, that'd be fantastic. In whatever league he does play in, whether it's for Six Nations or whatever. The fact is, Lyle Thompson is at a crossroads where he's got kids, he's got a family. It's time for him to be the man of the house who helps his kids learn how to play the game and stuff like that. I don't know how old his kids are. Probably should have done research on that. But this was a fantastic video. And one last thing he said is a lot of that needs no explanation. And to that, I say I disagree, but in a way that I think he'll appreciate. If Lyle comes across this video, I want him to know that he probably understands he's a face, if not the face, of lacrosse right now. You can argue Paul Rabel, you can argue Commissioner Brett Fruit, although I'm like, where? No. You can argue Jeff Teague, Dane Smith, Christian Del Bianco. It's Lyle Thompson. That's the fact of the matter right now. Everyone knows the name Lyle Thompson. He is as closest thing of LeBron or Michael Jordan or Tom Brady or Terry Bradshaw as you can get to in lacrosse. And so for him to say a lot of that needs no explanation, while I do agree with that, I believe that it's good coming from his mouth in a video. In today's digital age, it is so frustrating because we read quotes and we see things like John Morant in the NBA just released some quote. Everyone immediately called it fiction. Might have been some PR in there, whatever. Lyle Thompson said straight to your face in the camera, it's not a competition for me. These things get hard to manage, etc. I want to commend Lyle Thompson on Daily Dive, a summer edition, for just really opening up to fans and going on what he calls a 3-minute rant, although, again, it's not even close to that. It was very heartwarming, and to be honest, I kind of cried, what are they say on YouTube? I cried watching this baloney. But no, it was great thing that he did that. Maybe he didn't want to do that. Maybe it kind of came to that point. Maybe he didn't think he would have to do that. But it was good that he did it anyways. It showed a lot of pride and a lot of honor. And I'm running out of adjectives. But great job for Lyle Thompson. That's awesome that he did that. So, are you ready to get into some PLL? Well, let's first start off with previously in the PLL. Normally, if there's not a big story, the first part of our show every Friday this summer will focus on the previous weekend in the PLL. Who won? How did it happen? Reactions, all the smoke. Let's talk week 2. Hosting it was Charlotte, North Carolina for Premier Lacrosse League. Game started on Friday instead of Saturday, and like this week and last week, I wish last week I would have known that, but it's whatever. So we're going to first get to the Chrome and the Archers. The Chrome battled the Archers. And now, full disclosure, I personally think the Archers are one of 2 of my 3 best teams this season, and they showed it. They led 5-1 at halftime. They finished up the game 12-7. # no contest. What do you know? How do you do? Thanks for coming and playing. Tom Shriver, who's a star both in the box and on the field, had 1 goal and 5 assists for a total of 6 points. And speaking of archery, Matt O'Keefe actually had 2 goals and added a 2-pointer for 4 points for himself. And stone-faced goalie Brad Thompson had 18 saves and stopped 72% of the shots he faced. And so that was great for the Archers. For the Chrome, Jackson Morrill, who is literally my age of 26, had 5 goals for the Chrome. I asked myself, what are you doing with your life? I'm talking about what he did. Ugh. Archers moved to 2-0. Chrome fall to 1-1. Brett Dobson actually won Player of the Week in the PLL for his performance as voted on by the fans, presented by Cash App. Jackson Morrill was the only player in the league with 10 points and 0 turnovers, Jeff Teets. Oh, good Lord. Chrome coach Tim Sudan, after the game, decided that he needs prescription glasses because he said, and I quote, "I thought we played really solid defensively at big moments in the game. Here, you can have these because yours aren't working." Good gosh, that was horrible. If that's not a moral victory, I don't know what is. I mean, the second game on Friday featured 2 more 1-0 teams. Water Dogs faced off against the Redwoods. Full disclosure, the Water Dogs, when I announce them every week, are going to be called the Soaked Puppies. I think it sounds cool. The Soaked Puppies took a 6-0 lead, 6-0 lead in the first quarter, and then surrendered the next 5 goals to end the half, tied at 6 apiece. Redwoods would then tie the game in the third quarter before Water Dogs again took a lead. In the fourth quarter, the Dogs led 9-8, and then the next 2 goals were by Bam, rookie phenom Ryder Garnsey, and Bam, league legend Rob Pennell. Redwoods did get the win 10-9. Rob Pennell had 3 goals and 1 assist for the Redwoods. Ryder G had 2 goals of his own, including that last one he scored. Michael Sowers had 2 goals on 10 shots. The Water Dogs shooting percentage matters. Pass the rock, dude. Redwoods goalie Jack Kelly actually had 19 saves and 57 fantasy points. Both led the PLL. And keep an eye on his name. I'll talk about him in fantasy in a little bit. Okay. Saturday's first game was on ABC and between the Whipsnakes and the Atlas. Both squads were 0-1 to enter. It was 3-1 Atlas to start the game. The first quarter ended a shootout at 6-6, including a 2-pointer by each team, #SniperGang. The second quarter would end with the Snakes up 9-8. However, the Atlas actually went on a 3-0 run in the third quarter and shut them down, taking a commanding 11-9 lead. And then Matt Rambo said, "Hold my beer." 2 goals to tie it up at 11 apiece. And then Chris Gray said, "Here, I'll one-up you and buy myself a beer." He had a game winner, send him home happy. Make sure to drive safe, everyone. 12-11 Atlas. Jeff Teat had 5 points all in the first half. I'm not going to call him not clutch, but whatever. Matt Rambo also had 5 points to lead the Whip Snakes. I had no snakes whipped, by the way. What do you call it, whip cats or whip dogs? But I think whip snakes is a little bit weird. Oh, well. Chaos and Cannons were the last game of the weekend. Both of these teams were 0-1 as well. Something had to give. Chaos led 5-1 after the first quarter, but Cannons said, "This ain't happening today, pal." They cut the lead to 6-5 at halftime. Cannons Asher Knowlton and Chaos Chase Frazier were dueling at halftime, by the way. Third quarter, Cannons took the lead. Then 5 of the next 6 shots or goals, or scores as they call them, were by the Chaos, 12-9 after 3. Chaos went up 13-9, and then later on, 2 Cannons goals in the last 3 minutes to end regulation tied the game at 13 all, including their second 2-pointer of the game. Cannons copying from that Warriors playbook with all those deep shots. And then Josh Burns said, "I want a hat trick." And Josh Burns scored the goal in overtime. As Chaos improved to 1-1, Cannons are 0-2. Boom. Okay. So that was previously the PLL. We're going to work on that week to week here. But when I come back, week 3 is coming up today, literally in like, what is it? Math is hard. Like 4.5 or so hours. Don't go anywhere. Daily Dive Summer Lax will continue next. And yeah, I'm getting bad at this. Welcome back to Daily Dive Summer Lax, presented by Fanatics. And in case you missed it because everybody did in the first part, Daily Dive Summer Lax is happy to tell you about Fanatics. Sports fans, head to Daily Dive Lax on social media. If you're not already here, click the link tree in our wonderful biographies. When you make a purchase through the Fanatics link in the link tree, it helps us out so much. And NLL Shop is actually a Fanatics experience. So get geared, yeah. Get geared up, show your team pride. Thank you in advance. All right, week 3 in the PLL, here it is. And this is today at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. Water Dogs and the Atlas, both teams are 1-1. Jeff teed that potent offensive output of the Atlas, and we'll play the defensive-minded Water Dogs. Remember the soaked puppies? Okay, you'll catch on, I promise. 57% of fans on the PLL app have picked the Atlas. Here's the issue. I've seen so many times in sports where a team with a good enough offense and a really good defense, albeit through 2 weeks, beats a team with just a really good offense. I do not trust the Atlas goalie. And I think Zach Currier, Michael Sowers, and of course, Water Dogs goalie Matt DeLuca, who's actually so good he's above Dylan Worrell on the depth chart. Another aspect of this game will be the face-off. Trevor Baptiste might control like 70+% of them because Zach Tucci, who I'll get to later, is 4 for 14, and Trevor Baptiste is 34 of 51. But I do have the Water Doggies in a shootout, 14-12. Also in week 3, tonight at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN Plus, the 1-1 Chrome and the 0-2 Cannons. Cannons come in living up to their name with 3 makes from 2-point land. Nobody else even has multiple of those. Cannons are 3rd in the league at 27.4 shooting percentage. Chrome are 2nd in shots on goal percentage, while the Cannons are 3rd in that shots on goal, which is like the ones that are close, you know. This will be a high-scoring game to me. Even with Scaroni playing goalie for the Chrome, give me the Cannons. Our mates to win 16-13. I also like the over 23.5 in this game. And I think Cannons losing by 3 to the Archers. Just 1 to the Chaos is amazing. Chrome lost that same Archers team by 5 and not 3. You're thinking of if they can cover in this game. Now, Saturday, of course, tomorrow will be the Archers and the Chaos at noon Eastern on ESPN. Lucky schmucks you are, PLL. Possibly the game of the year so far in just 3 lovely weeks. 2-0 Archers against the 1-1 high-profile, bandage-filled Chaos. They are having fun celebrating that dang trophy, by the way. Stacked offenses, great goaltending with Brett Dobson and Blaze Riordan, who is one of the best teams in lacrosse history or sports history. History in general, Blaze. I mean, why did my mom name me Blaze? I'm trying to yell to her. We'll see. Archers have 14 assists compared to 8 for the Chaos. Both teams are actually top 3 in total passes. That's a heck of a stat. Does the NBA even do total passes? Like just each time you get a share, Like, that's insane. The PLL does that. That's great work by you guys. Paul Rabel, where's your money? Can I have some? For what that's worth, by the way. I mean, I don't know what. Oh, this guy passes the ball a bunch, okay, and he stinks. Whatever. These teams are 1 and 2 in the shot percentage category, and this stat is damning. Chaos have 45 turnovers. I'm surprised Jeff Teets. That's enough Jeff Teets player. Archers have 28. This game comes down to me to smart play. It's up here. And a goalie matchup that is close enough where Brett Stinkin' Dobson, friend of the Daily Diet NLL version, give me the Archers 12-11 in a 1-goal masterpiece. I think Connor Fields has a good day and Latrell Harris as well. The under will also be smacking good in this game as well. Redwoods and Whipsnakes tomorrow at 7 Eastern, the second of the Saturday games. Matt Rambo in the Whips. Ryder Garnsey, Rob Pinnell, and the Redwoods. I like the Redwoods in this one. Not a fan of the Whipsnakes led by Matt Rambo. And who? Exactly. Ryder Garnsey should score more again this week. Give me the Redwoods by, I don't even write this one down, off the top, 13-11 Redwoods. All right. When I come back, we got my fantasy lineup, and I'll tell you why I have to give you that. And also a 4-leg parlay if you're tailing the show, because I'm so successful. I'm doing a podcast from my bedroom. That's not important. We'll be right back to Daily Dive. Don't go anywhere. Summer Lax is happy to tell you once more about Fanatic Sports fans. Head to Daily Dive Lax on social media if you're not already here. Click the link tree in our bios, and when you make a purchase through that Fanatics link, it helps us out so much. We're on our knees and we're thanking you. NLL Shop is a Fanatics experience, actually. So get geared up. Show your team pride with Fanatics. Click the link tree, though. Bets and fantasy. Nothing I love more than losing people money, so let's do it. This is my best 4-leg parlay. How this is going to work every week is I'm going to choose one bet, whether it be the spread, the total, or the money line, for you to put in a 4-legger on DraftKings or whoever wants to sponsor us. How you guys doing? Water Dogs plus 1.5. I know I picked the Water Dogs to beat the Atlas, but I'm not going to get cute. I'm going to go with the Water Dogs, and just because it's good enough value. Like, we don't have to just throw the money line at them. We can just say it's going to be close, which means they basically have to lose by 1, okay? So if Jeff T gets cute and scores a game winner, or Chris Gray has a game winner, should I say, we lose by 1, and you win money. Congratulations. Cannons, money line. I told you I like the over in that game against the Chrome as well. That was off top. I'm getting good at this. But like I said, I do like the over 23.5. I also like the Cannons to win this game. They are the better offensive team. Both teams have no goalie, even if Scaroni likes to think he's one. Archers in the chaos under. This is bold. 23.5. This to me should be plus money. It's not. Who cares? You're making money regardless because I told you so. But I believe even though both teams have really good offenses, I believe that Blaze Riordan and Brent Dobson are no scrubs in the nets. They will make some spectacular saves. I believe Latrell Harris on defense will have a fantastic game, a masterpiece, if you will. Da Vinci on my wall, Latrell Harris on the lacrosse field. And finally, you're going along with the Warrior Dogs to cover. You're going along with the Cannons money line. You're going along with the Archers and the Chaos under 23.5. Give me Smack Daddy Redwoods money line. $5 wins you $77. I'm not going to do it, but you can. Cool. Great. That's what plus 1,400 value or whatever. It's 14-1. And I think those are pretty good. Or if you want to go by straight up picks, that works too. I am 7-1 straight up in the first 2 weeks of the season. So if you want Water Dogs, Cannons, Archers, and the Redwoods, that works too. Not for me. Fantasy line. Now, I'm going to tell you why this stupid thing comes up. This makes me mad because that's just what I do on the show. So, the PLL had the bright idea to realize that somebody from their Discord server has made some model based off of last week's performances where they have the best fantasy lineup, and this thing is projected at 366.5 points. Jeff Teat, Michael Sowers, Tom Schreiber, Jackson Morrill, Matt Rees, Jack Kelly, and Nick Rowlett. I think it's Rowlett or Rollet. Probably Rowlett or Rolex. That's a good one, too. I'm kidding. I didn't mean to do that to his last name and his family. But I've actually got two of those. But no, it is not because, well, they had it. So Discord said it's second. No. I'm smart here. So I'm actually going to tail the Archers and the Redwoods here. Give me Jeff Teat. I think Jeff Teat's just such a high-volume player. It's like, why not spend the 50 stinking tokens on the guy? That's a lot of money, okay? Ryder Garnsey, the rookie for the Redwoods, will have a good game against the Whip Snakes. I think he'll have some good goals against the goalie of the Whip Snakes. Who was that exactly? You couldn't even answer that. Midfields, I've got Connor Fields, who's coming into his own, and rookie of the year in the NLL last year, Jonathan Dundell, who had a couple or a few helpers last week. That's assists, by the way. Defenseman, I've got Archers, Latrell Harris. Goalie, I've got Jack Kelly of the Redwoods, who just came out with a great game and led in fantasy points last week. And face-off will be Zach Tucci. Well, you're saying, Michael, you lost all credit. Baloney. I want to tell you how the strategy works, okay? Zach Tucci may be facing off against Trevor Baptiste, a PLL MVP. I understand that it's unprecedented from the face-off position. That's fair. I understand the face-off guys staying on the field a lot longer this year. But face-off guys are projected, like their highest guys projected to get 15 points. So if Zach Tucci gets like 3 points, who cares? I didn't miss out on much. But I did save a bunch of tokens. So we're getting Jeff Teat, Ryder Garnsey, Connor Fields, Jonathan Donville, Latrell Harris, Jack Kelly, and Zach Tucci, please. I think Zach Tucci will get about 5 to 10 points. I think he can step up a little bit. We'll have to see. But, yeah. So, again, Water Dogs to cover, plus 1.5. Cannons on that money line. Archers versus the Chaos under 23.5. Redwoods on their money line. $5 wins 77. And, of course, fantasy, Jeff Teat, Ryder Garnsey, Connor Fields, John Dunn, Latrell Harris, Jack Kelly, and Zach Tucci. That's it. Thanks again for tuning in. For those that missed the Daily Dive, I know I missed you more than you missed me, and that's probably actually true. But thanks so much. We're going to be here all summer long until September. I want to say 29th it is. That's the last Friday. The 24th of September is the championship. So we're going to do all this stuff. I know we're starting like a week or two late. But remember, we had to finish the Daily Dive NLL part up. And remember, Season 2 is still coming Monday through Friday once again. November the 1st. Of course, you see pinned tweet on our Twitter page. I mean, you knew that. But in case you're just on YouTube, get with the program, dude. All right, guys. We'll be even cooler and awesomer next week. I'll see you next Friday. For everyone who watches this show, you're awesome. For great guests, you're amazing as well. We'll probably have a PLL guest next week because I love you guys. For everyone that works behind the scenes on making sure season 2 is fantastic, I am your host, Michael Carvel, saying you have a great day. I have a terrible British accent. This has been Daily Dive. Adios.